What's good, YouTube? Quasar here. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys my Monarch deck profile. So starting off, we play 3 copies of Idea. Idea is your main monster. You want to be starting off with this card in your hand. You want to see this card as early as possible. So opening with it and getting its playoff will give you an insane first turn. You will gain so much advantage if you're able to get Idea's effect off. So basically when it's normal or special summoned, you get to drop another monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense. And that target would be this guy, 3 copies of Adios. You need to be playing 3 of this guy as well. Also with Idea, I should say though, if it's sent to grave, you can target one of your banished Monarch spell and traps and return it back to the hand. So we're playing 3 copies of Adios. Again, you need to be playing 3. You want to see this guy too, but like Idea is the most important because Idea gets you into Adios and then you can just continue on your plays there. But with Adios, when it's on the field, you get an additional tribute summon on top of your regular normal summoner set. So basically, you drop Idea effect, drop Adios, and then you basically have your tribute fodder that's on board. So if this guy's also in graveyard, you can banish it, and then you can special summon Idea. So that's your basic tribute fodder for Monarchs right there. Next, going into the tribute summonable Monarch monsters, we play 1 copy of Chaos, 1 copy of Curaz. So we're only playing 1 of each. We don't want to necessarily open these guys. I mean, I guess you can, but more so you'd want to open Chaos than Curaz. Curaz you want in the deck for another effect. I'll get to that later, but Chaos, when it's tribute summoned, you can target a card on the field, banish it. If that was a dark monster that you banished, inflict 1000, so that's really good. And with Curaz, when it's normal or special summoned, so you don't even need to tribute summon it. There are other ways to get this guy on field. You can pop up to 2 cards, and then the cards that were destroyed, whoever side of the field it was on, that player just draws that many cards. So if you pop your own cards, you get to draw 2 cards. Pop your opponent's cards, your opponent will get to draw 2 cards. So it depends on really what's going on. But yeah, only 1 of each. Same with 1 copy of Vanity's Fiend, 1 copy of Majesty's Fiend. These guys are, again, easily tribute summonable, and they're just simple lockdowns for your opponent. We play 2 copies of Aether. Aether is probably your main tribute summon monster because when it's tribute summoned, you get to send 2 of your Monarch spell and traps from deck to grave, and then you get to special summon another monster with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense. So essentially with her, you'd basically want to be doing that in order to drop your Curaz from deck, because that will then allow you to pop cards, and then you just have a 28 and 24 beater on board, and essentially you could just pop 2 monsters and then just ram for some massive damage. The only thing is that monster's then sent back to your hand during the end phase, but it's okay because you're basically just going to be dropping it again next turn. Also, if it's in your hand, you can banish one of your Monarch spell and traps from grave, and you get to tribute summon it during your opponent's turn. And then you can also continue on with that play. So you can do that during your turn or your opponent's turn, which makes it absolutely filthy. Also 2 copies of Erebus. This guy is really good. Opening him is actually pretty insane. If you can get your Idea play off along with this guy in hand, you can drop him And you'd usually go for a banish in hand if you're going first. When it's dropped, you get to target either a card on field, in grave, or your opponent's hand, all of which your opponent's, of course. And then you get to banish it, so that's really good. So first turn that, you get to banish a card in their hand, and they start with 5 cards. So that is also really good. If he's in grave, you can just discard one of your Monarch spell and trap cards, and then return another Monarch from your graveyard back to your hand. So that's it for the Monarchs. I also play 2 copies of Max C. If you are going second, your opponent goes off, you at least have something here where you can at least sort of counter off of that. You get to draw cards. This also really helps for you to get your idea in hand first turn, get to idea as soon as possible. So 2 copies of Max C. And I'm also playing 2 copies of Effect Veiler. Veiler is amazing this format. Really good first turn, shutting down your opponent's plays. So yeah, that's why I'm playing, 2 and 2. So that's it for the monsters, 18 monsters. Moving on, got spells. 3 copies of Domain. This card essentially just shuts down every other deck because they cannot special from their extra deck if you control a tribute summoned monster. So Pepe, it's already hit, but it basically just shuts that deck down, and you basically just win games off of this card because you just lock down your opponent and they can't do anything. Also, your level 8s in hand can become level 6, so it only requires 1 tribute. 3 copies of Tenacity. You just reveal a Monarch in hand, and then you can add any other Monarch spell or trap from deck to hand. So, really good for thinning out the deck. Pantheism's like the ace spell card for Monarchs. You discard a Monarch spell and trap, and then you get to draw 2 cards. And then when this is in graveyard, you can banish it, reveal 3 Monarch spell or trap cards. Your opponent chooses 1 out of them. That card gets added to your hand, the other 2 get shuffled back in. The beautiful thing about that is you don't have to reveal different ones. You can reveal 3 of the same card. So essentially you could reveal all 3 Tenacity, and then you can just search whatever. But yeah, that's really good. So you obviously want to be playing 3 of that. I play 2 copies of Stormforth. Stormforth is good for just allowing you to use your opponent's monsters as tribute fodder. 2 copies of March. This card just basically helps seal the deal. It protects all of your tribute summoned monsters, so that's really good as well. And 2 copies of Twin Twister. It's a better version of MST. A lot of people are playing it at least 2. I think 2 is a good number for this deck. For one-ofs, I play 1 copy of Return of the Monarchs. So while this is on board and you tribute summon, you get to essentially just add another Monarch from deck to hand. So thins out your deck some more, allows you to continue off your combos, get the cards you need. 1 copy of Rhoda. We're playing Rhoda because Idea is a warrior, and you need to see Idea as soon as possible. So 1 copy of Rhoda. 1 for 1, again, just to get to Idea as soon as possible. And for the last spell card, I just play Regeki. Regeki just nukes boards, and it's just too good of a card to not play. So traps. The Prime Monarch, we play 2 copies. When you activate it, you get to target 2 of your Monarch spell and traps in grave, return them back to the deck, shuffle them in, draw a card. If this card's in your graveyard, though, you get to banish one of your other Monarch spell and traps, and then this card gets special summoned as a monster. It's not treated as a trap card, so it's essentially just free tribute fodder. You could usually, if you have both in grave, you'd want to activate it during your opponent's end phase to bring it back, and then during your turn, you now have 2 monsters on board you can use to tribute summon. So this card's really good. A lot of great combos because you can send this card to grave easily. You don't even need that first effect. It's just really good to see this card in grave. And for the last card we play is the Monarch's Erupt. It's basically a skill drain for your tribute summoned monsters. So everything but tribute summoned monsters lose their effect. And it's just another card that basically seals games. We don't play any extra deck, of course, because this is Monarchs. Monarchs basically revolve around no extra deck. So that is just the main deck. I hope you guys liked it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.